Alright, shalom, shalom. Before I begin, I want to start off first by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head elders and apostles, a great millstone. Peace, blessing, salutations, and to the elect. You brothers out there that labor and is working, to you very few sisters that believe as well, I'm going to say shalom. And I want to get into a real quick, not necessarily lesson. Lesson, but really a testimony, right? Dealing with a vision. That's exactly what it was. It's like it. Dealing with a vision that I had, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, right? So I want to say about 3 weeks ago, which, I should have been, right, did this, right, testimony video, right? But, nevertheless, everything is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, right? So to start off the vision that I had, right, there was a group of cops, all right, and they tried to break into, right, the current apartment that I'm staying in, right? They tried to break into it, right? They tried to break in through the window, and so I caught them through the window. I said, "What the hell y'all doing?" And it's like, when I caught them, and when I asked that question, they got scared. They're like, "Oh, never mind. We was just, it's like they were like, never mind. We was just tripping, like something like that, man." Right? But it seemed like they were scared. When I asked them what the hell they were doing, they're like, "Oh, we don't know what we was doing. Sorry." So they left. All right, they left. But they left. They stopped trying to break into the window, through the window, and they were just standing out in front, right, of the apartment. So I left. So I went outside, all right, and one of the cops that was standing there, all right, I said to the person, I think there was a person next to me, I forget exactly who it was, right, but I asked that person, I said, "You want to see this nigga head pop?" All jokes aside, right? I said to the person next to me, about one of the cops that was standing out in front, all right, of the apartment. I asked the person, I said, "You want to see this nigga head pop?" So I went over to the group of cops, all right, and the cop that I went to, he was a Jake cop, right? So in my, I guess I was thinking about, I had telekinesis. All right, well, I was about to do, what they call telekinesis. I believe you just, when you think it with your mind and it happens, right? So I was about to do that, and at first it was working, right? Because in my mind, right, I said, pretty much make this dude fall and pop his head, make him fall to the ground and pop his head. So he fell to the ground at first, right, but then he got right back up, right? So I went back, all right, to back to the front porch, all right, back to the door, right, of the apartment, all right, to the person, and I thought to myself, I said, "Damn, why can't I make his head pop?" And I heard a voice, all right, I heard a voice saying, "Because you don't believe, or because you don't have faith, because you don't have enough faith," all right? And so, all right, call hello, y'all, Bahashib, Yahweh Shai, man, all right? So after the voice said that, I went back over there, right, to where the group of cops was, all right, and I tried to do the same thing. This time it worked. This time it worked. So, that faith inside me grew. So I was able to do it. I was able to make the dude head pop, all right. So I want to say about 2 minutes later, all right, there was a wave of cop cars, all right, coming towards me, or coming to get me, I guess, right? But there was waves of cop cars entering to, all right, the neighborhood, right? So the first wave of cop cars, I ran straight through it with my body. I ran straight through them with my body, all right, and they just exploded. As I ran through them, they just exploded, all right? So that right there, hey, that's real quick before I continue on, man. Because it's the first scripture that came to my mind, right? Like after I had, right, the vision and all that. This is Isaiah chapter 59. Brothers know this. We know this scripture. Isaiah chapter 59, all right, and verse 19 says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood. And that's exactly what the enemy was doing. Because like I said, they came in different waves. It was coming. It was I forget exactly how many of them it were in each wave, right? But it was definitely a few of them, right? So it says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And we know that's talking about spiritual power. So in my vision, the Lord gave me spiritual power, right? Because come on, you running through cop cars and this explode, that's spiritual power, man. Right? That's spiritual power. So say in the vision, the Lord gave me spiritual power, right? Well, obviously, I made it do a head pop. So like I said, yeah, the first wave of cop cars that came to the neighborhood, I ran through them straight. I ran straight through them with my body, and the cop cars exploded. All right, as I ran through them. So the second wave of cop cars, and if you don't know what I mean by waves, like it's like if you're playing like GTA or something, you got like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, with different enemies coming at you. Like wave 1 may be like 10 enemies coming at you trying to kill you. Then wave 2 increases, be like 30 enemies. If you may not know what I mean when I say different waves of cop cars, or different waves of cop cars, right? So like I said, with the first wave of cop cars, I ran straight through them with my body and then exploded. Now the second wave of cop cars, I grabbed the first cop car that came to me, that met me or whatever, that came to me, right? That was near me. I grabbed that cop car, all right, like with my hand, with my bare hand, I grabbed it, like grabbed it, right? And then I started smashing the other cop cars that were coming. Like just smack, like Hawk smashing them. Let me see real quick. Get a good example. Yeah, yep. I don't know if brothers ever seen the Avengers, right? And Lord's willing, I don't get a copyright for this, but let's see. Lord's willing, they don't copyright or strike my video or whatever. Give me a copyright, right, for playing this video. But it was like this. Oh, let's see if it'll play.
In Esperanto, alta means the peak.
I'm only playing it. I'm only playing this just to show an example, right, of how it was. I'm pretty sure brothers know what I mean, but I just for anybody that don't know what I mean, need a visual representation, then this is one. Lord's willing, I don't get a copyright strike.
The highest point.
Hawkeye!
Nat, what are you doing?
A little help!
I got him.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
That's exactly how it was. That's exactly how it was, but it was a little bit harder than that. Not a little, but a lot harder. It was like I grabbed that motherfucker cover and I just like I was just aggressively banging a hammer. Let me play that again.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
That's exactly how it was, man. That's exactly how it was, man. Alright. So that's what I did to the second wave, right, of cop cars, alright, that came at me. right? Like I said, I grabbed the first cop car and I hawk smashed. Exactly what I just showed, the video I just showed. I did that to all the other cop cars that were coming after it. All right, to all the other cop cars that came after. Right, so I just said grab that first cop car and just all right, and just destroyed all of it. And I believe there was a third wave of cop cars, but I forget exactly, all right, how I destroyed that wave of cop cars, you know. So Slovakia, all right, for that, right. But I believe it was the third wave, I believe, right. But again, like I said, I forgot exactly, all right, how I destroyed that group of cop cars. But all right, continuing on, carrying on, all right, in the vision. So after I did that, one of my worldly cousins, you know, which, you know, Lord might have mercy on him, maybe not. I mean, you know, if he's a 2/3, he's a 2/3, right? But if Lord have mercy on him, you know, great. But if not, hey, great. I mean, you know, I don't mean like great. I don't mean like that, but I mean like it is what it is. You know, I'm not, you know, if he's a 2/3, he's a 2/3, right? But I mean, in a vision, right? Him, and his mother, my aunt, right? They came, all right. They came in their van, right, or in her van, right, in her car, right. They came, right, and they was like, they said my name, you know, my worldly name, and they was like, bro, they was like, we heard what you did, man. They had a smile on their face. They're like, we heard what you did, we heard what you did, we heard what you did. So it's like they came and they was like, you know, excited to see me, right? And the scriptures say, right, and I told, right, brothers out in my camp, I told them this vision, right, and you know, we was thinking, obviously, you know, we one body, so we were all thinking the same scripture, about thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, right? So because they came, right, and they wanted to help me, right? They came and they wanted to help me, and they I believe my brothers know I got a little one, right? And I believe there was other little ones with me too, like other little kids with me too. So they came and they took them with them, all right. And they I guess they took them to safety somewhere, all right. Hold up real quick. It's like it. People should be willing. This is Psalm chapter 110. Right, in verse 3 it says, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. Right? And the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast to do of thy youth. So it says thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. You're gonna have a lot of our people, right, when they see the men of the Lord get spiritual power, that's when, you know, they're gonna believe. Right? That's when they're gonna believe. Right? And that's their lot, man. And the Lord gonna have mercy on them. All right? So it says again, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast to do of thy youth. So again, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. So they were willing to get down and, you know, believe and help out, you know, when they heard about what I did. All right, when they heard about what I did. So carrying on in the vision, right? So after that, all right. So after that, there was this Jake, or this other Jake that I work with. Pretty cool Jake. All right. I'm not sure why he was in the vision, why he was in my vision, but he was there. All right, pretty cool Jake. You know, I talked to him at work, not about the truth, of course, but just be communicating. We were talking about bullshit, you know, and whatnot. Like I said, pretty cool dude, man. Real pretty cool dude, you know. But he was there, all right. And I said, hey, bro, you want to see something? And there was this car coming. There was another car coming out. It wasn't coming after me or anything, but it was just driving, about to drive past me. So with my bare hand, I grabbed the car by the back of the tire and I like turned it around. Like I grabbed it by the back of the tire and just like, like I just snatched it up, not to destroy it or anything, but just to like show, I don't know, for whatever reason, just to show the Jake, like, I guess the spiritual power that I had. I don't know why, but I grabbed, like I said, I grabbed the car by the back of the tire, because like I said, it was driving towards me. So I grabbed it by the back of the tire and then flipped it the other way, I turned it around pretty much, so it was facing the other way. All right, and he was just like, damn, whoa, like damn. He was like, damn, whoa, yeah, you did that shit, right? And then I looked up in the sky, all right, and I was like, bro, you see all those, you see that? And it was just, and when I tell you, it was like, it was chariots, man. It was just lights filled. The sky was full of lights, man. It was full of lights. Like the chair, you know how the chariots be when they're far out. Like they wasn't up close. They were still like far. You know how brothers know what I'm talking about. No chariots. Like you see the chariot and it's just like lights. Well, let me see. Yeah, I got a couple of pictures or whatever. Not or whatever, Slocky, but where's my gallery? All right. Slocky, let me see. I know I got some in here. I took a couple of videos. I'm showing brothers my gallery and stuff. I mean, hey, it's all you brothers see it, man. 144. Just it was like that, but yeah. So it was just like, but they were a little bit brighter than that. Not a little bit, but they were a lot brighter, right, than that. But it was like I said, like that. Yeah. This was a video that I took too. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Scriptures say how the angels, they pretty much, they protect us, man. All right, they're looking, they're watching over us, looking over us. All right. Yeah, this was a video that I took of, a chariot, over my house. But all Akim, Wa Akwatim, got, videos, got videos and so brothers, different brothers and sisters out there, man. Y'all got y'all, own things that y'all seen, chairs over y'all house and different things and whatnot. This is another one. All right, so the reason why I'm showing these videos just show like a visual of, like, going back to the testimony, the vision that I had, right? That's how, all right, the lights were. That's how the chariots were in the sky. They wasn't up close and personal, but they were like, like I said, like they were like this. But it was brighter than, the lights were brighter than it. The lights were brighter than that, and they were different colors too. All right, there was they were different colors, right? There was some that were red, I believe some that were green, blue, right? But they filled the sky. The sky was full of them, full of the chariots, right? So, and then the last part of the vision, all right. I went back to the apartment, right? I went back to the apartment, and in front of the apartment, there were like packages, right? Which I believe, right, it to be food. But I didn't look inside the packages, but there were packages, right, outside the door, which they weren't there before. All right. And then as I went into the house, all right, my family was in there, or I think my mother, I believe my brother, my son, I want to say, right, and I believe it was a couple other people, right, a couple other people. I forget exactly how many and who exactly was in it, but there was, as I went back into the house, right, my family was in there, right, and they were eating, right, which one thing I forgot to mention, right, I believe during some part of that vision, right, when I left the house, all right, I believe my mother, she was like, we didn't have no food, right, so she was like, pretty much she was like, how like pretty much how we're gonna eat, right? So yeah, when I came into the house, right, there was packages out in front of the door, and as I went into the house, all right, they were eating, right? So Isaiah 65, man, all right. Isaiah 65, right? They were eating, and they looked like they were good, or they were good, right? Because also too, I believe my little one and my brother, they were playing, they were like holding a controller, so I believe they were playing the game, obviously, because they were holding the controller, right? Playing the game, right? So this Isaiah chapter 65, right, verse 13 says, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And like I said, as I went back into the house, all right, everybody was good. They looked like they were good. They were good, right? They was smiling. Well, at least my little one and my little brother were, right. They were smiling, right. They looked happy. They had something to eat, right. So, hey, call all y'all about Shemal Shah, man, right? Hey, this is real, man. Hey, the Lord said His servants gonna eat. As long as we endure to the end, stay faithful to Yahweh Shemal Shah, we're gonna be good, man. Right? Verse 14 says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall have for vexation of spirit. Ultimately, 8 to 2/3. That's what's gonna happen to the 2/3. They're gonna cry for sorrow of heart and shall have for vexation of the spirit. Why? Because they didn't get right with Yahweh Shemal Shah when the time to get right, when it was time to get right. Right? They chose that which was evil, right, in the eyes of the Lord, right? They chose that wherein He had no delight. So the Lord gonna punish them. They're gonna suffer, right? But the Lord's servants are gonna eat. They're gonna drink. We're gonna be, in other words, we're gonna be all right, man, right? And that's what the Lord showed me in that vision, right? That me and my household, also too, you sincere brothers and sisters out there, man. Y'all households are gonna be all right, man. But just a vision that the Lord gave me. He showed me that, hey, me and my household gonna be all right, man. All right. So, the 3 scriptures that I put out, those are the 3 scriptures. First, scriptures that come to my mind when I had that vision, right? Isaiah 59:19. All right, about the Lord lifting up a standard, which like I said, the Lord gave me spiritual power to run through them cars, to destroy them cop cars. All right. Thy people shall be willing the day of thy power. Where I mentioned about my, my worldly cousin, right, my aunt, right. They was willing when they heard I got that spiritual power. All right, and this here Isaiah 65. Cause like I said, when I went back to the house, right, there was packages, right, left in front of the door, and as when I walked in the house, they were eating. My family, my household was eating, and they were good. So we're on the right track, brothers and sisters, man. All right, Yahweh Shemal Shah got us. All praises, all the glory to Yahweh Shemal Shah, man. All right, We're gonna be protected when all hell breaks loose, man. We're gonna be all right, man. Right? Believe that. Believe that and know that. Right? Believe that and know that. Right? That the Lord got us, man. He's gonna protect us. Sirach 2:10. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever anybody trust in the Lord or was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Alright, did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? The Lord not gonna forsake us, man. You know, as long as we endure to the end. So, I just wanted to give do a quick testimony video, like I said, of a vision, right, the Lord gave me, a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that's it, man. All right, I pray and hope that this was eye-opening, edifying, that you got something from it. Right, Lord's willing, I hope I explained it and broke it down as precise and I explained, Lord's willing, I explained it, all right, perfectly. Right, I try to use the best words and explain it as best as I could, to as much as I could remember. Right, Lord's willing, like I said, I explained it perfectly. Right. So yeah, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Shai, Barakathum to you brothers and sisters out there, and hey, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakodash, and Shalom.